Ah,
Check, 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 check.
hey,
There you go.
You guys can hear me?
Yes.
Dude, every time we do this, it always happens. I don't know what I'm like doing the same thing that I always do. I apologize. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it never works when you want it to.
God. Damn it, man.
Technology.
How about us?
Hello.
How do we sound? Does Tony's mic sound good? Does my mic sound good?
Yeah, sounds great. Everything sounds good to me.
We can hear you guys well.
Cool.
Okay, so we're also
sorry, it's coffee time for you. Sorry, man.
Hey, it might be spiked, you know.
some Baileys.
I've got a coffee beer in the fridge.
Silver bullets.
Nice. All right, so thank you guys so much for joining us today. Really, thank you. You are the first guest on the second season of this show, which is pretty funny. The last episode was almost exactly 1 year ago today. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah. A lot happened in that year. I used to do this by myself. Now I got Matthew. He's my co-host. He's working with me. So how have you guys been doing? How's life?
Busy. Very busy.
Doing? What have you been doing?
I'll start. Yeah, I mean, I've been through the pandemic to present. I have a full-time job. I sell coffee in Chicago at an artisanal roaster. Through the pandemic, just been as release. I have a practice space in the city. I live right outside the city, and it's been it's like a been dumpster year of dumpster fire year.
Oh yeah.
And I have family at home with me, so little guys, and just need to get out and play.
Exactly.
So we started a project 2 years ago. It's One Song Before You Die. We were going to put it out anyway, and things just exploded on us.
Right.
We've been really, I think the pandemic has been a catalyst for a lot of creativity. So
that's fantastic.
Busy making music.
Yeah. Pablo, how about
pretty
you?
much the same here.
Yeah.
Well, just had a baby.
Wow, congratulations.
She's what? Thank you. Well, she's now 19 months. So been busy with that, and this whole project basically I've been trying to mix this whole thing. So a lot of late nights, huge learning curve. As David mentioned, we've been doing this remotely. He has a rehearsal space out there. I'm basically just have a computer here at home. And that's how we've been doing this thing. For how long have you been doing this, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, like 1.5 years we've been working on this.
Yeah, about that, right?
I think it's like noteworthy that we like to joke that like I've been recording and making music, and he's been mixing. So we actually haven't been playing our instruments as much.
Right.
I'm like I just want to play the drums.
I
just want to play the bass.
Yeah.
He's working towards mixing his bass into these songs.
Yeah, I haven't actually played bass probably in a year, I feel like. Well, ever since like everything locked down. Probably longer than that. I haven't been out. I haven't gone on any sessions or even actually played bass on this album as of yet. I mean, like a couple little test runs here and there. But yeah, so the album
still know how to rock that thing, man?
I don't know. I think so.
Latex, right? Come back. Okay.
So can you guys tell me a little bit about how like you got together, how you started this whole project together?
Yeah. Pablo, want me to just kick it in?
Yeah, go for it, man.
So when I moved to Chicago in 2002, I came to play. I graduated from college and I was ready to jump in the pond. I actually was thinking New York or Chicago. So I ended up moving to Chicago, and I had a jam session. I responded to an ad, and I met Pablo at this jam session. And it's like there's like this whole backstory with this night, but like it was literally like I literally was like playing all this jazz. I'm just getting really bored, and I was like, what the fuck, And Pablo was just hanging out like with his hoodie on in the corner, all shady, like with his upright bass and a bottle of Bacardi or something like that. I'm like, are you gonna? I was getting so tired of playing these standards. I was like, are you gonna play that thing or what? I was like, this badass, like mysterious guy in the corner. So eventually, he ended up. I guess he got persuaded by his friends to do it, or drank enough Bacardi or whatever. Yeah. And he comes over and like he's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, drum and bass, dude. He's like, really? And so we started jamming, and the whole place lit up. It was just like this party exploded. The way I see it, like, like it probably didn't happen this way, but like MCs were like started rapping over it and all that stuff. But it was actually just him and I playing for a long time, nonstop. And we end up forming like this kind of project. I called it SPIZM at the time.
Yep.
And Bob, you want to jump into here? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like one of those, I've been going to these sessions for a long time. They're like my friends. And basically it was just like a bunch of musicians, you know, just get together. You've had, you know, like all kinds of drummers, bass players, and it was a lot of like he was saying, like a lot of jazz,
Right.
you know, fusion, you know, some like really like heavy hitters. And I just kind of like the time, like, you know, broke up with my girlfriend. I was all like sad and blah, and like, you know, so I wasn't like really like, I brought my bass. My buddy was like, dude, just bring your bass. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I was just kind of hanging out. And when I first met David, I thought like that he was like some sort of DJ or like a beat producer kind of a guy, you know. So I didn't even know that he was a drummer. And since I was like chilling, like this place is like really cool building in Chicago, and like, you know, we're hanging out on the rooftop, so you kind of hear what's going on. And my buddy was like, you know, hey, you gotta check this guy out, you know. And I kind of peeked in there, and I was like, oh, holy shit, you know. But I thought that he just wanted to do jazz, you know. And like, even though I had an upright bass, I actually was playing more like, I don't know, all kinds of different stuff, but jazz. So I didn't know like how to play jazz. So I was kind of like a little bit intimidated. So I was like, nah, I'm just gonna hang out with my friends on the rooftop. And then that's when he approached me. He's like, you know, hey, are you gonna play this thing? I'm like, no, you know. So finally, you know, I got in there with him, and just like how he said it, you know, he's like, hey, what do you want to play? Or, you know, and he was like, oh, drum and bass. I was like, oh, really? I'm like, let's do it. So like once we started, we just didn't stop. And then yeah, so like there was like some MCs. It was actually Jared Hemmer. He just started rapping. Other people were like chiming in, you know, like, but it was like the focus was like it was just him and I. Like for me, obviously, you know, I didn't care what was going around. And what I noticed with him was that whatever I did, because we were obviously improvising, he just didn't stop, you know. And when I thought that something would stop or change, or if I thought that I made a mistake or whatever, like he would just kind of go with it, and it would just kind of go into this other idea, and we just didn't stop, man. I mean, it felt like forever. Maybe it was only like 30 minutes, you know what I mean? Like, but it was moving, you know, very high pace, you know, buck 80 BPMs, you know. He was just laying down the break beats, man. And it was great. That's how we met.
That's a cool origin story.
Was
and then we fell in love.
We met through friends.
Was the bottle Bacardi 51?
No, it was just like at the time, like it was so we all went like together, like as a group. So we all just kind of pitched in on that. Yeah, it was like a big ass bottle, and like that's all we had though. Like we didn't have anything else.
That's the bottle, man.
We all just bought it, you know, like we're just all sipping out of it. Nights. It was just, yeah, it was just whatever.
We like to joke that we like both, like we at that time we were both coming out of like 2 failed relationships, and it like spawned this creativity we had to get together, because you know, Pablo and I, you just, you know, getting to know us, but we're very different people, as you probably can tell, coming from different parts of the world. And it's unlikely that we met, and unlikely that we were able to fuse this thing and that it came through. But it's formed this like indisputable like weird chemistry that's beautiful. It's spawned almost 20 years now.
Yeah,
right.
Of course. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So could you tell me a little bit about the early days, how it was? Were you trying to make EPs, make albums, stuff like that? You were just playing shows and stuff like that? What was it like in the beginning of the band?
All of the above. Yeah, we would spend, it's kind of funny, like, to the intro, that little story kind of sets it perfectly, because a lot of times we would get together when we really kicked it in to full gear. We would get together at like, we'd meet at like 11 or 12 and play till like 3 or 4 in the morning. And that kind of like, and just sheer improvisation. And that ended up kind of spawning how we our battlegrounds when we played live shows. For instance, one of our first areas we go to, Southern Illinois, is a college called SIU. And we got invited down there. One of our first shows was on tour, and we played a basement party. It was like 100 people keg party or something. And that went to like 6 in the morning, you know, and that became like our battlegrounds, where we would we would have parties where we would have shows where like, it was just, I would be like about like a pile of sweat afterwards, you know, like literally jello, after like playing beats all night. And we would morph from like a DJ would between live drum and bass into like these samples from my Roland pad. And
okay.
there would be times where I'd break,
Hmm.
or maybe Pablo would give the bass to someone in the crowd. Like we've done all sorts of crazy stuff. But like it was a lot of it was like it was pre-digital really. So we were doing a lot of CDs. You know,
Okay.
we had to tour. We
Wow.
would try to get outside of Chicago as much as possible. Even to this day, look, we're going to Japan. We're not going to play in Chicago.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think
a lot of
in the
Yeah, sorry.
beginning, in the beginning, it was about that. Like when he asked me to come and meet with him,
Hmm.
at first, I think like the first few times it didn't work out because he had a really small rehearsal space. He had a huge drum set, like all kinds of cymbals and stuff.
Wow.
And I showed up with like a little combo amp, right?
Yeah.
And an upright bass, which is not ideal. And this guy's just blasting like Diesel Boy. He's like, hey, check this out. Look what I can play. And I'm kind of in the corner. I'm like, well, you know, what am I supposed to do with this?
Right.
You know, because it was just so crazy. It wasn't like in that first
Right.
initial environment, like where we,
Right.
you know, it was bigger, party scene.
Yeah.
And it just like it didn't work out at
Mhm.
first. And I think you were working with another bass player for a little while.
Yeah.
And then after that, you know, he hit me up again. And I was like doing some other things, more like whatever grungy shit or whatever hardcore stuff. And he hit me up again. He was like, hey man, you know, I want you to come back, man, because I'm not getting the same feeling that, you know, with these other people. And I think that's when like I came back, and this kind of happened like multiple times, but we wouldn't really say anything. I mean, we kind of talk before we would go in the room. And then once we went into the room, before we knew it, you know, it would be like 2:30 in the morning. And what it would seem like, it's kind of weird. And it only really happens when I play with him, that, you know, I would think that it's probably like 30 minutes that we, you know, we were playing. It felt like 30 minutes, but it has been hours, man. You know,
Wow.
and then we would just kind of talk about it afterwards and just say goodbye, and then we would meet again. And that's kind of like how it initially started.
Right.
And then David, you could kind of take it from there when you actually decided like, hey man, I want to make a band out of this. Like I really want to do something with this.
Did you guys have a question? We don't have to. We can pause it.
Well, no, I mean, I heard, I hear a lot of different sounds and influences coming from both of you in your stories and stuff. So I want to know, like, in the beginning, what sort of influences did you have putting this all together? That's pretty interesting to me because
It's kind of funny. When I moved from Baltimore, I came up with I was always like putting band names down, right? Like the cool band names you write down. And I had this band name, SPIZM. I thought it was kind of cool, and like kind of comes from spastic or something, you know. And when I moved to Chicago, I met Pablo, and our original idea, Pablo likes to joke that I was trying to start a 15-piece band that had like DJ and guitar and all the horns and shit. And I'm like, no, I don't want to start 311 ska band. I want to, but my idea was I was coming from free jazz. I'm a free jazz player. I'm college taught drums, musician for life. And I really wanted to mix that with like IDM and like jungle and drum and bass, which was like really exciting for me to do on the drums, which was kind of like a new thing in Baltimore at the time. And also with hardcore and punk. So these three, and metal, all those three things fused together are my main influences. So when I started SPIZM, my idea was, and it being just one person, which is pretty funny, but like I was going to be like bass, guitar, sax, vocalist, DJ, and drums. This kind of like weird, you know, this weird new hybrid electroacoustic band. So
that's insane. It's incredible.
So I think what Pablo's getting to, and thank you, what Pablo's getting to is like when he's like, you want to play with just me? Like we decided this drum and bass unit was like so liberating. Like I had no idea a drum and bass unit could be like that, because I never did it in Baltimore. It's always guitar players and stuff. And it turns out like the original jam session, it's like everyone else, it's not like other musicians are not important. It's just that in this unit, this chemistry is so pertinent to have just the tight drum and bass. And you can do so much with that. You can feature the rhythm section, and it's very interesting.
Of course.
It's powerful.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was just like, I mean, we talk about like styles or whatever. It was just the way like his drumming was, it was relentless. It just didn't stop. It was constantly moving. And, you know, for me, it was like, I was just able to I had the freedom to just do anything. Like I could do no wrong, you know, in my mind. I don't know if it sounds any good, but you know, it was just like a bunch of just freedom.
Right.
And I just really, it's kind of like I was just reacting to his drums and he was reacting to my bass, and just back and forth. Like think of it kind of like a street fight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just trading blows back and forth. And then, you know, afterwards, again, you know, after playing for like an hour nonstop, you're like, oh my God, that was great, you know?
Yeah.
See you next week. You
Fight
know?
Club, man.
Oh.
Philly Fight Club.
Yeah, and it was great, and it was great because, you know, during those sessions, you know, we would kind of remember like, hey, do you remember you were doing that, you know, that little thing? So I
Right.
think that's how kind of songs started shaping and,
Okay.
and forming. So then when we actually played live, I think the, you know, the very first shows, we had ideas for like, you know, maybe like a riff idea, you know, a couple ideas within a movement. But it was all pretty much improvised, you know what I mean? So we could kind of take that, let's say we have a riff, right?
Right.
And that could be played like on top of like a break beat. It could be like hardcore, it could be punk, it could like drop down to reggae, you know, you name it, or free jazz, you know, it could just go anywhere. And that's pretty much like what we would build upon in the beginning, because we again, we didn't have, you know, all this technology. It was just literally like very just dry, you know, drums and just the bass amp. And I think I had a pedal or something, you know what I mean? But other than that, it was just like, it was just that. Yeah.
Wow. That's, I mean, to me, that's a pretty eclectic kind of mix of music, I think. A lot of, yeah. So you mentioned the whole CDs for, this is before the digital age, obviously. So how were you making these CDs? Like what you were recording your songs, burning them onto the discs, or how was that working?
Yeah, pretty much. We went, I knew of a guy, because I was working with in another band, and I knew of a recording studio, and basically like we couldn't afford anything. So we did, I think our first recording, it was all just in one shot. Like I think we did it like in like an hour or two. Like it was just like boom, there it is. We haven't had great
Which is
successes.
perfect for SPIZM. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just bang it out, kind of like do it live.
Right.
Yeah. The guy didn't even like mix it. I didn't even know how to use a computer. I still don't, you know, when it comes to mixing and stuff, but just did what we could. And we actually, yeah. So like we copied the CDs by hand. We didn't have like the dual whatever CD recorders, and we put the sticker, you know, we printed everything out. Like that's how we did it. And we made shirts.
That's nice. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I kind of miss those days a little bit.
It was great.
I do. I remember when I was 16, I just decided one day I was going to make a CD. So I just started this, I forget what it was called, like a black metal band, like Panzer Cult or some stupid name like that. I went on Google and I found like a picture, put it into like a CD like box, and I just recorded it by myself. I was like, oh, look, I have a CD. And people are like, what is this garbage? What are you doing? So,
and it's funny, like it's what you're saying. Like it's super interesting because like before digital, obviously, like you had to get the music to people.
Yeah.
Unless you had some kind of like radio break, which is ridiculous, you know? So like, yeah, I mean, we would tour a lot. I mean, we went to around the Midwest quite a bit. And like, we would always that was the big, you finish your set, you're like literally a puddle of sweat, and you just have to talk to kids and like, hey man, and people are handing you money. So
but that's what got us to the next show, because like those, especially like, you know, Bill at the SIU parties, you know, we would actually like between like, you know, them helping us out, you know, with the gig and like helping us out, like sell like CDs and t-shirts, man. Like we could actually walk out of there with like $300-400, which would help us propel us to, you know, put gas in the truck to like go to Evansville, or you know what I mean, East Coast or whatever.
A fun little bar that has fun things there. Who knows?
Yeah. So I was telling Tony great cheap merch idea that I was told by a producer friend of mine. Flyers. Actually not flyers, posters. Posters are great. They're really cheap to make and people love to leave with something, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great merch ideas that I tell my friends. So
we're working on stickers and pins and
I mean,
But that's how it was like back in the day, no? Like, I mean, they had like, you know, you had like your little setup with the shirts and like, you know, they had like the posters. And it was like, I remember when I was a kid, like, you know, I'd be like, oh man, like that's cool, you know, like I want to get like a little thing, you know what I mean? Like
Of
super
course.
exciting. Yeah, nowadays I don't know if that even works. Yeah, who knows?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm not really part of the young person scene of
It's
music
like
anymore.
NFTs, you got to sell some NFTs. Like, so we have some
NFTs,
NFTs available for your purchase right here.
We sell some Coinbase.
Yeah, scan this QR code and you're gonna buy it.
Give me
Name
10
your
free
price.
coins.
Yeah. So do you have any of the shirts left? Did you, because I remember the first band that I made shirts with, I kept two. Just I gave one to my mother, one to my father, kept two for myself. And do you guys still have those? Did you
I still
hang
have
on to them?
mine. I still have mine.
Yeah, I lost my hoodie. I do have a shirt. It's behind me,
Oh wow.
tucked away. Yeah. But yeah, I don't have my hoodie, which I'm actually pissed about because I really love that hoodie. So, and then we have like a limited. Yeah, we only pressed like what 4 or 5 hoodies of the kind of like the Japanese side logo. It's not like a rebranding. It's just kind of like, you know, we just kind of made some hoodies and stuff. So in the near future, I think, you know, David and I will sit down once we release. We'll think about what merchandise we want to put out there for people to acquire.
All right. So my next thing I wanted to ask you guys about is obviously you're doing this remotely. I mean, you guys, of course, have been friends and band members for a long time now, but David, you're in Chicago. Pablo, you're here in Japan. So Pablo, what led you to being here in Japan? What was the path here for you?
Oh wow, it's a crazy kind of story. Basically my wife, it you know, I visited and I just didn't want to go back to Chicago, and like I was very torn, man, because obviously I have David there. I have my family, I have all my other friends, and it was comfortable, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, man. Like I just like it's something inside of me that's like I just got to make this move, and it sucked, man. Like just leading up to tell David, because at that point, like so like SPIZM has been like 100% active, you know, throughout all these years. You know, we like maybe do like a show once a year and like take 2-3 years off. It really depends. He was in other projects, whatever. So what was really messed up is that we actually, like right before I left, we actually started playing a lot. Like we actually like
shows.
Yeah, like great shows. Like we were actually like doing it, like, you know, starting writing some new music, and you know, we were just doing it again, man. It was like super fun. So I was like, man, you know, I'm like, can I do this? You know, like, can I just walk away? And a lot of it, you know, it's obviously, of course, because of my family and everything, but it was a lot of weight on this, like playing with David, man, because like every Tuesday I knew that I could just go with it. Either if we were writing on music or like playing shows or not, like I just knew every Tuesday I could get together with him, hang out with him, play some music, you know, and just feel great, man. Like I needed that. It's kind of like that exercise, you know, like if you're into like lifting weights or like doing something like that, like it just felt good, man. And it was hard. I mean, I thought about like, you know, having the conversation with him, but you know, he was just like, yeah, man, go for it, man. Do what you got to do.
That's great.
And what led kind of to this, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I was doing stuff remotely with my buddies, my other friends from Chicago. They're like, hey man, you know, when you do some bass, you know, throw some bass on some stuff. And then I thought about David. I'm like, man, why maybe SPIZM should be doing, you know, because he's like sending me all these videos like, hey dude, I'm at the practice space, check this out, I came up with this like cool beat or whatever. I'm like, you should record that. I'm like, don't you have a computer? He's like, yeah, I got a computer, I got GarageBand. And he found 2 microphones, got a sound card, so he literally has just 2 microphones and GarageBand, and that's how we've been doing it.
That's great. I mean, it must be really difficult to be in 2 different places in the world and making music together. I can't even imagine.
I'd like to respond to that. It is difficult. It has its challenges, but because I think it would be so great to be in the same room, mixing together and being on this. I mean, the time clock is the hardest thing. It's always morning somewhere, right? It's like, gosh.
Right.
And like, I was going to say, I would like to just back up just for a second, because I think it's really noteworthy that this relationship that Pablo is entered in with and his wife Chi, they also met through SPIZM at SIU.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Wow.
That's it spans like, I don't know, what is it, like 17 years ago, something crazy like that. But she was there. She went to these parties. She saw us play.
That's
great.
great.
So like you actually have this kind of weird, like not weird, but like you have this like stratum of like people who met us early on, that like know us as this kind of punk rock kind of like drum and bass band. And then we've expanded to this new stuff, which you guys are hearing now, Before You Die. It's a little bit more synth driven, vocal, it's pretty different. It's not really super crazy, but it has some of the elements of that. So you have like these two different strata, and we're finding this like really nice middle ground between these two sounds live.
Yeah. So that leads us perfectly to the next thing I wanted to talk about, Before You Die. So that's obviously going to be you guys' next release coming up pretty soon, right? So could you tell me a little bit about recording, everything, like just what's been going on with this new record for you?
Yeah, so Pablo's saying like in 2018, we were really active when he was living here. He was kind of getting one foot in the door here, one foot in the door in Japan. He made some trips. We can definitely feel him moving in that direction. Which was really, really great, really amazing. And for him to have the courage to do it. And at the same time, like we made this choice to like this song Before You Die. I actually wrote it a long time ago.
Okay.
So it was kind of like in 2007-8, we were pushing this new song, and it kind of became part of our like live show. It kind of like within our scene, like a little bit of a cult thing. Like, hey, play Before You Die, because it's so different from other stuff. We ended up as Pablo was kind of moving to Japan, we kind of made up our mind that like we really should do this justice. We had recorded it briefly in the studio, but it wasn't professional. So we're like, let's record this song. Let's make it count. So I bumped the BPMs up to 192. Wow. It was at a safe 175 before.
Okay.
I made it, and I went to the studio. Actually that was the hardest things, because when Pablo just moved, that summer of 2019, I was recording in Chicago with his at Earshot, and I really needed him there. That was the time where it was kind of tough, because you're making something together. We ended up sending files over there. He recorded bass at a studio, sent it back to us, and then we ended up pursuing this kind of like, I guess you call it EP, like the short release. I don't know what happens with the pandemic. Somewhere along the way, Pablo, like it seemed like just shit exploded. Like Pablo mentioned, I started doing Instagram videos. I started getting into like just doing these short video clips of me playing over top of like metal and death metal and playing drum and bass and like free jazz and stuff. And I ended up playing quite a bit last year, more than I ever have. And then, like he said, like I got into my garage band, and he gave me the strength and courage to like, dude, use what you have and like just start recording some of these drum parts. So it's not just like a shitty recording. And I ended up like really getting into this like writing more. So what we started as this kind of just a single that we were going to push, this old song, I ended up like, we recorded our second song, Lay Low, which is like another big one from that time. And then all this new stuff. So we have like a good like dozen songs that are being released in the next several months.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Most of which on this release Before You Die. So.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, and what you heard is actually what I sent you is actually a remix that will be. David is dropping this Friday.
2 days.
Yeah, so that's
Friday,
a
15th.
collaboration with Seth Darling in Blue, and he really just snapped on this. I mean, he gets the SPIZM sound. He just went absolutely crazy on the track. So we're really excited about that. We're really excited to be working with him. Really excited about this release. So like we've been like monthly, just kind of like releasing little remixes and stuff, because we'll be collaborating. And one of the big things that I want to mention is that this whole album, so SPIZM originally it's just drums and bass. But this new album is actually David playing keys and singing. So when we actually do the live shows, he'll be playing drums and singing as well. In the past, when we didn't have like computers and stuff, he would do like the keys and try to sing only for like maybe a couple of songs. But yeah,
it's gonna be quite the feat live. Yeah, we're gonna have this pre-recorded music, some of which will be pre-recorded bass and drums and vocals too. I might be like singing just songs.
Yeah, some backups, right?
I might be playing drums in some songs. It might be a mixture. It's gonna be really, really cool.
It's gonna be interesting, yeah. And like it's really different, man. And I'm really excited for people to really hear this side of SPIZM that nobody has ever heard. And of course, it's always going to be over some break beats for sure.
Yeah. So this leads perfectly to the next thing. You're going to be playing in Japan, right? Next year, March. So what are the plans? What's the Japan tour plan for SPIZM?
Yeah, at the moment, it's just it'll be his first trip here. So it's like pretty chill. We'll be playing in Shibuya at Knob. We playing with Daisuke, he just Galaxy 7 punk version. I think my other boy from Chicago, Termite, he might be joining us hopefully. And I'm not sure who else will be booked for that show. I was also looking into getting maybe like the Friday prior, so that'd be a Saturday night, March 12th, I believe. March 11th, we wanted to do another show as well. I was looking at the Ruby Room, doing that with Unclosed, one of great band here in Japan. I love what they do. It's kind of like cyberpunk metal stuff, really cool stuff. Probably Galaxy 7 will join us as well. I just haven't been able to get the venue yet. It's a little probably too early, language barrier. But yeah, we'll definitely try to do like 2 gigs. We'll also try to be, I think like maybe that Tuesday of that week, we will do the open mic for Ruby Room. So it's kind of be like a little teaser, we'll like do like 2 tracks. That would probably be, I would encourage people to come out to that because it's super fun for the open mics and seeing a lot of great talent. But we're probably going to do that more of a like old school SPIZM, very raw. We're not going to set up computers and tracks and shit. It's just going to be like just in your face, 2 tracks. And I'm really excited for that. And it's crazy because, he's going to fly in on a Saturday. So we'll actually have to play for the first time in over, I don't know how many years.
2 years.
Learn this music, presented
less than a day.
Tuesday, and then
and work out all the technical difficulties of
play
electronic music,
and then play 2 shows the week, and then he'll fly back to Chicago, and we'll kind of look back and be like, was that fun? Do we need to do this
I'm
again?
sure it will be.
I understand this. I'm arriving before the spring blossoms. Is that correct?
I'm sure. Yeah.
You are. Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
That's April. Okay.
Yeah, don't come now. There's actually a killer hornets.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's funny about those. It's funny about those because like I saw that in the news, and then when I'm at the park with my daughter, I see them all the time. They're just flying right next to you.
Sorry, Pablo, where are you living right now?
I'm in Meguro.
Okay, yeah, I'm a newcomer to Japan, but we're in Chiba.
Yeah.
I actually, my parents are scared. They're from the U.S. They're always asking about the killer hornets, and I said, no, Mom, Dad, they're in the forests. We're not in the forest.
No, they're around. Yeah.
I saw a dead one on the ground.
Yeah, they're huge. They're like this big.
They're here.
True. I know. They're scary.
There's a lot of things that could kill you in Japan, man. Don't worry about Hutchinson.
I'm very used to bugs now living here.
I was gonna say, I throw in here, we're real excited. In this release, this is kind of a little bit of a teaser. We actually, I've produced our first few ballads, and I mean, ballad. They're 120 BPM. Okay, so like kind of slow for us, but they tend to double time to 240. But these are really super special, and we are making we have 2 singles, Before You Die, which has a bunch of remixes, and then also Twin Speaks. Again, this is a ballad. We are actually in the process of working with Chicago videographer, producer, director named Edwin, we're gonna be shooting a Japan-Chicago video set for these like music. Actually, our first music videos, like real deal.
It's cool.
Awesome.
And that's also going to be directed remotely as well, too, in the same vein that how we're producing this whole album as well.
It's apropos, so it's very interesting. We'll see. That's going to be dropping pretty much close to the album, January 7th. So
Okay, so the album comes out January 7th, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
And what do you have a name for it yet, or is it?
Before You Die.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
Single
cool.
and album. Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So
That's it.
we'll be depending on, we may release another, what do you think, David, like another teaser, another single like we did?
Yeah,
with
we
this?
might. Yeah.
We might do. So like I'm working very hard. Like I said, we're also doing some other collaborations, hoping my buddy Bradley Angle Paradox from Chicago, he may do some rapping. So these will also be included. So if you buy the album, you also get all these remixes included.
That's
in that. And then actually he's got another EP ready to go right after that. So
yeah,
really?
you can go to our Bandcamp. Yeah, it's true. Like I said, I've been working hard. You can go to our Bandcamp space. It's SPIZM. We have a pre-release going that's actually going very well. I mean, we're trying to do something a little different here. People are buying the album. It's not even out yet, so it's a good sign.
It's a modern way of doing things. You got to give the consumer everything because people expect a lot.
We're giving them. We're not giving them songs yet, right? But we're giving them remixes of the track that will be the single. And and it's the funny things. I'm getting people saying to me on Instagram, like, well, "What does the real song sound like?" How we want to hear that song, and so it's working, right? It's making people want to hear what it's gonna. It better be good, right?
Yeah, and we really kind of put it in a high gear right now because I mean, social media, I mean, we didn't really do too much. We didn't have like a huge presence. Obviously David has always been like posting videos of him drumming, which is amazing. Check those out. I mean, he's fantastic. So now like we're really trying to like reach out to people and just kind of get our fan base, see like where we fit in this whole world of musicians and stuff. So like we have everything set up, all the social medias, we're out there. So we're excited, and especially like to be able to like actually have some visuals to the stuff, because I think like I can't wait to actually like people need to see, like SPIZM is a band that you actually need to see live. I'm not like downplaying the music, especially his new album is great, but like you just have to see his drumming, his hands, his speed, me going crazy on bass, man. It's fun, man. It's a lot of fun, man. We always have a good time.
I'm also a drummer, but David, I saw your Instagram videos and like it's insane how fast you can play.
It's not sped up, man.
I know. It's like
sometimes I speed up music that's really fast to get to this kind of place I like to, this comfort zone.
Wow.
Or for me to push it. So I'll take like a square pressure song, which would be like 190 BPM. You can on YouTube, you can amplify. I don't know if you guys have tried this. You can change the settings.
Oh yeah.
Slow or fast. I love that. It's like a DJ pulling the record back, And it's so much fun. So you can make it really fast. Of course, it makes it sound higher pitch, but it is so much fun to just like fuck with music. And like I can put out music that was already fast or weird, and it's completely different. And I play drums over top of it.
That's really cool. I mean, it's funny you mentioned that. Because actually we're working like as kind of like teachers here right now, and we play a lot of songs with the kids a lot. And I don't know, I mean, you guys both have little kids. I'm sure Baby Shark, that like that really annoying grating song. They love it.
So
I don't know when I decided to start doing this, but I speeded up all the way, like 2 times speed, and then back down to 0.25, and they're like, what's going on?
It's a cool feature. I love listening to a lot of like podcasts and audiobooks on Spotify. You speed it up and get to listen to it quicker. It's a great feature. It's cool.
Well, I'm excited. We're both excited to definitely hear the the remixes and the new album.
I mean, I think I'll be at your show, God willing. Hopefully things don't go to hell in a handbasket.
I think it's gonna be okay. I think it's gonna be okay. I don't know if it's gonna be like the same intensity like with the crowds. Like have you guys ever been to Knob in Shibuya or? Kind of like a guy gym. Oh, okay. It's just a good time. You know how it gets crazy out here, man. So I don't know if it's gonna be like the crowds are gonna be going nuts like that, but we'll see.
We were just in Shibuya at a venue called Gigi.
Yeah, we just went to a place this past week for Matthew and my friend, this really, really talented group of musicians.
It was a jam out. Yeah, it was a jam
nice.
out. Yeah, and yeah, it was pretty packed. I mean, there wasn't like a whole lot of people, but more than I thought.
But we left wanting there to be a little bit more like you said, just more like, you know, there was like one heavy part in their song, and Matthew started like kind of like start open up this pit kind of thing. I'm like,
give me more.
I mean,
read the room. No one's doing it.
SPIZM
A lot of
is a
that
band.
with us, the boom booms, man.
Yeah.
SPIZM is definitely a band that loves to play on the floor. So like Knob doesn't have a stage or anything. It's on the floor, man.
Oh wow. Okay.
I can touch you while I'm playing. And that's what we love, man.
We have reached out and touched many of the fans, and I mean that with like our instruments. There's a lot of good stories of that. Maybe another time.
Physically.
Impact with it, and a lot of blood. There's usually a lot of blood.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
You don't believe, was it really a show? Honestly,
Right. See, that's he was a drummer here. So.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I want to do like a kind of like a rapid fire round. Gonna have like 4 or 5 questions here. And the first answer that comes to your brain, just say it.
Cool.
They're pretty simple things. All right. So we'll start. David, favorite band or musician all time?
Square Pusher.
Square Pusher. I don't think I do. Have you ever heard Square? I've never heard that. Can you describe what their music is?
It's a bass player from London. Who's very good and like a fusion jazz bass player. And he invents his own pedals and he makes electronic music. This is very quick.
All right, I'll try to remember that because I love to listen to weird music and kind of like unique stuff all the time. So
that's it.
Yeah,
I'll definitely.
Check out the video Terminal Slam. I think it's actually filmed in Tokyo, like right for the
all right,
Times Square.
Yeah, it's Shibuya.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Very cool.
All right, Pablo. Same question. Favorite musician band of all time?
I'd probably say Square Pusher, but
play Square Pusher a lot.
Sensing a trend here.
I'm gonna change it up. I would say
we could do it.
I think Jane's Addiction. I have
okay.
That's legit. Yep.
Soft, warm spot for that.
I can't tell you how many shows we've played, like the warm up, you know.
Mountain song. That's a great song.
Yeah.
That or Fugazi, right?
That or Fugazi.
Yep.
Oh, I love Fugazi. Okay.
Fugazi
Nice.
We played with that drummer, remember?
Yeah.
The drummer from Fugazi.
Shark Quest.
Really? Wow, that's incredible.
In Baltimore.
Yeah.
Oh, they are from the DC area, right? Kind of.
Yeah. So another band of his, and we toured to Baltimore.
Right.
God, long time ago, but yeah, it was a good.
Yeah, it was so embarrassing because I was warming up with like Waiting Room, and then like David's nickname is Spiz. So Spiz is like behind. He's like, "Hey, dude, stop playing." I'm like, "Why, man?" I'm like, I love playing this little riff. He's like, "No, dude, that's the drummer from Fugazi, dude." Oh shit!
They recorded that stuff.
Oh my god!
It was so embarrassing. I felt so stupid. I totally felt so stupid.
I'm sure he was flattered, honestly. I mean,
I don't.
You're playing a song in front of him.
You never know. So.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Favorite movie of all time?
Ooh.
You want to start or should I?
You go first. Oh man.
I mean, I've got 2. One is Dead Man. That's with Johnny Depp. That's a black and white movie. And I love Fight Club. Those 2 movies.
Fight Club.
That's something about that. Yeah, it just got me.
Yeah.
Oh God, man.
Come on, give him an anime or something cool like that. Come on.
No, there's so many. I have to like think about. Oh shit.
The first that comes to mind.
You just kind of killed me with that one.
I know it's hard.
Tough question.
Oh man, there's just too many. I can't like. I just watched Fight Club. So
okay.
There you go. Like literally, like I watched it last night.
Really?
But
that was your first time watching Fight Club last night?
Oh no, I watched. Dude, I watched.
I was gonna say.
He says Square Pusher.
As you can see, we have some common links. So.
That's good.
Oh, how about this? How about this? I enjoyed Melancholia. There's something else.
Oh, Melancholia. Yeah.
Super sad movie.
Super sad.
I mean, the name Melancholia sounds pretty sad to me. So yeah.
I don't know.
Kristen Dunst.
There's too many. I really have to think about it.
Yeah, that's a tough question. All right, next one. Favorite food. food.
Tacos.
Tacos.
Nice.
It's a solid one right there.
Honestly, it's either sushi or lasagna.
Ah, that's pretty interesting. Those are two very different things.
Yes, but I think
like
I think
tacos.
that we're gonna have some amazing sushi in Japan. I imagine.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
part
you
of the
will.
menu for sure.
Be prepared though. If you get that like real high end sushi, you're gonna be paying a lot of money. It's
Yeah.
crazy how expensive it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
He
know where
knows.
to
Yeah.
take them.
His
I will
girlfriend's
go
always
there.
begging him. His girlfriend's always saying to him, "Oh, Matthew, bring me to the expensive sushi."
No, but still though, it's cheaper. Like in Los Angeles, you'll get some sushi, and in Japan, it's cheaper and fresher. It is
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
You get higher quality for way. I mean, Pablo knows.
It's so much cheaper.
It's a
man.
rip.
Really?
It's a rip off in LA. It's stupid.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, sure.
It's so much cheaper, dude.
Super hypey.
You could go to the fast food chain and like get some
Oh,
like
yeah.
chutoro that they will charge you like $25 for 2 pieces in Chicago for like $2.
Like in the
Yeah.
US, the
Yeah.
conveyor belt is like a luxury. In Japan, it's just
I know,
not.
right? Seriously.
That is really fun to do that. I did that like not long ago. It was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
David, you'll have a lot of fun when you
Oh,
visit
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm kind of spoiled. My wife is from Toyama, Asahi. Yeah, sashimi out there is just
Fishing
ridiculous.
village, right?
What's that?
Fishing village.
It's not a village. Like, what do you mean? Maybe, I don't know.
I hope I
Yeah.
didn't offend anyone.
No,
No.
I'm just busting your balls. No, but it is yeah, small little town. And the fish, I mean, it's just outrageous. Like sometimes I just feel like I'm like just like a sashimi snob. I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
it's not acceptable.
He used to be a
Nice.
tequila snob. Not tequila snob. Now he's a sushi
No,
snob.
I haven't drank. Yeah, I haven't drank tequila in like years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Next question.
All right, this one is probably going to be a little difficult. Biggest pet peeve.
I don't like watching people eat.
I get that. Yeah.
I just don't like it. I don't like the sounds. I don't like people watching me eat either.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't mind. I don't mind having like dinners with family and stuff.
Sure.
But if I'm eating and somebody's just watching me and they're not eating with me,
Yeah.
kind of weird. There you go.
Mine's kind of lame. I just want people to use turn signals, man. That's all.
Yeah, that's very true. Use the
I
term.
drive a lot. Come on, just like tell me where you're going.
Dude, you have to drive here in Japan.
Which
that-
side of the street do they drive on?
It's the opposite side.
Yeah, that's
Opposite
what I'm
side.
saying. Fuck that, dude.
People are so nice, man. They're so nice. They let you in and stuff. I
Yeah.
say 99% of the time. Yeah. It's like so courteous.
All right, last one. This is going to be pretty difficult because I know you guys have probably been to a lot of shows, but you're to this day the best show that you have ever been to. Which band?
That's
Oh,
not our
us
show.
playing? Oh, not
Well,
our show?
yeah, like excluding yourself, because obviously all musicians want to say my band, but other
Sure.
people.
Yeah. So many, gosh. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I
Um,
know.
Nice, man. Dude, my uncle, God rest his soul, he owned a venue in Chicago, so I've seen so many bands.
It's tough, I know.
like the
That's ex-
Aragon, one of the shows there or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen so many. Jesus Christ.
One time I was at the Aragon when
Hmm.
Pablo was working bar and like this band called Brujeria.
Oh.
Brujeria.
You're gonna love
Oh
this.
my god.
Brujeria.
My stepdad's brother's wife is the brother. No, is the sister of the lead singer, John. I've had dinner with him.
John Brujo.
Oh.
Yeah, I know him. I know him.
Even no existence.
At our Thanksgiving dinner, he always requested beans.
Normal
Normal.
mysterious. Well, that's crazy, man. It's like a mixture of like Faith No More, Fear Factory. a bunch of
Yeah,
bands,
no,
And John Brujo, whoever that is.
Yeah.
And like, so I'm standing there. I'm like, I love Brujeria, but it's like, you know, their big song is Montando Güeros, like kill white people, right?
Is
So-
there? Yeah, my
and-
uncle.
and-
My uncle was the immigration officer. There's a guy named Peach.
Maybe, yeah.
He has the long beard. He came to the dinner too. Peach. That was his
It's
nickname.
crazy. Wow, you're crazy. Like, my mind's blowing up here.
So weird.
So
They're very
Pablo remembers
popular.
this. So I'm okay. So I'm like as white as it gets, right? So I walk into the show, I'm like a spiky hair. I'm like, whatever. The show's ending. I think they ended with
I remember this.
There's a mob of just like non-white people hanging out by the
They're all
stage,
Mexicans,
leaving.
bro. Yeah, they're all Mexicans.
Yeah, they're all Mexicans. They didn't have pitchforks or anything crazy like that, but like they might as well have. Because I was like, Papa said, you might want to come a little closer to the bar, man. And they're all like, yeah, like Montano Guerras, like leaving the bar. I was like, I should probably.
My uncle played the immigration officer in the video. He got death threats on the comments. They want to kill him. And
Wow.
in LA, they're
Pete
banned.
Wilson. Yeah, I know.
People pulled out the seats in the show. They're banned. They cannot play in LA because their fans went so crazy.
Holy shit.
That's badass.
Super hype.
That wasn't my favorite show, but it was one of my more memorable ones that I will never forget.
So
out of fear,
crazy.
out of
But John Brujo, normal guy, man, eats beans, hangs out, very mellow guy. I've eaten dinner with him 10 times.
So awesome.
Most of these like famous people are though, you know, they're just normal people, man.
I asked him like, oh my God, like tell me about recording. He's like, I don't know anything. Like we just go to the studio and just chill guy. Like I'm like, you're a signed band. Like you go on tour. He's like, yeah, man, it's whatever. Like
It's whatever.
Yeah. I'm like what?
That is
Amazing, Papa. What was your favorite show?
For me, I would say, I mean, there's so many like amazing shows, but
yeah.
I would say like the most recent one, I would say like Ronnie Size. The wife hooked up some Ronnie Size tickets. Hey, dude, I had like a fever, man, like probably like 100. I almost didn't win, and then I'm there and Ronnie Size is like pouring vodka down my throat. I mean, it was just such like an amazing show. Like he literally like walked away from the decks and was hanging out with all of us like in the crowd. It was so beautiful. I think that was just so epic here in Japan. And I'll just slide in here like for SPIZM, definitely Baltimore, playing Baltimore. Best show.
Yeah.
Best show ever.
Loudest show as well. That was so loud.
Best show by far.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that.
Nice.
All right, so we're coming up on talking for almost an hour here, so I'm gonna let you guys go. But first, can you tell everybody where they can find your music, your Instagram, your social media? Just plug all that.
Sure. Yeah. Well, first, a good spot to go right now is facebook.com/SPIZM, SPIZM. We are at SPIZM ___ on that's our handle. As well, it's at SPIZM1 at Twitter. We're everywhere. I mean, we're on freaking Rumble, we're on TikTok. I mean, you name it. Like I've just opened up the world of that. I've jumped into that world. Well, so we can Bandcamp is a good place to just hear the music, the new stuff. We have it. That's just where you can just like check it out as it's releasing before it really pops on Spotify and stuff.
Yeah, because new things will be coming up for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, this Friday you'll be able to hear it globally. Amazon Music, iTunes Music, Apple Music, right? And then Spotify, we have a channel there. We have like canvases for our videos on the app. I mean, we're like really trying to push it up to the next level. What else can we say?
I think you've said pretty much all the social media.
Yeah. I think for me, like what I just want to add is I just want to thank like everybody that has helped us like thus far, man. There's a lot of people like helping us, like doing stuff like pro bono, you know, again, Roger, Seth in Blue, you know, Brad Paradox, you know, Jared. I mean, just, you know, our families, like everybody that's like really helping us to just make this happen. We're really excited. And, you know, it's scary, you know, because we're putting this out there and it's, you know, you kind of be a little bit more vulnerable. David wrote, you know, since I'm here and he's there, he composed pretty much like 100% of the stuff. I'll just be doing most of the, you know, mixing and producing end of it and, you know, adding my bass, you know, to what he has created. So yeah, man, I'm really, it's terrifying, but I'm like really excited to put this out, you know, the best that we can, you know, like this just like we're doing it homegrown, man. Yeah. And it's a lot of work.
I mean, you know, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Honestly, you know, I listened to the remix, I listened to the original. So, you know, I listened to pretty much
No,
all.
that you haven't heard. I don't think you've heard the original.
Oh, really?
Original-
No?
Maybe
Yeah.
on Spotify.
Yeah,
Oh,
nothing.
the one that's on Spotify.
None-
That's not the original, right?
They're all remixes.
Oh,
Well, there's a version of Before You Die that we recorded back in 2007. So that's
Oh
like
yeah,
the original
yeah,
one.
Yeah. Sorry
It's
about
much
that.
slower.
Right.
But that's a
Yeah,
good starting point. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
If people want to hear the old school stuff, Movements 1, Movements 2 on
Okay.
Spotify.
Yeah, or else like keep an eye on. I would say like Instagram is probably the best place to kind of get sneak peeks of things. Because we're posting like 15-second like videos, like
Mhm.
you know where I'm like mixing tracks or whatever. You know, like new song ideas. You know, because like we're still like you know up to like I think like maybe a week or two, we were still in the writing process
wow.
of this album. So yeah, crazy.
Well, we're real excited to listen to it and everything that's coming up. And I really want to thank you guys for. It was a lot of fun talking to you guys.
Well, thank you so much, man.
Thank you for having us.
doing this.
Yeah.
No. The
absolutely.
pleasure is all ours. Honestly, you know, we're just happy to have fun musicians to talk to. Honestly, so yeah, definitely keep us in the loop of what's going on, and yeah, we will hopefully talk again at some point soon. Maybe even meet up in person in March when you guys are here.
Oh, it's
Sounds
gonna
great.
happen, bro. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen. For sure.
That's gonna be
100%.
quite a good show.
All right. So thank you guys so much for talking today. And yeah, David, I hope you have a good day. And
Thank you.
Pablo,
Good night, guys.
have a good night. Okay.
I need to sleep.
All right.
All right,
All
guys.
right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.